Good day and greetings to the respected judges. My name is Verlene Simwisin from Sabah Sumsin Secondary School. Today, I'm honored to present my innovation project, Find a Study Matrix, a simple thinking framework for every subject. In simple terms, Find a Study Matrix is a practical four-quadrant thinking framework for any subject. Instead of just collecting information, students organize their thinking through four perspectives: facts, insights, notes, and discoveries. Unlike traditional note taking, FIND helps students truly understand, remember, and apply what they learn, while also giving them a way to self check whether they really understood or just memorized it. FIND also works in any direction, even in reverse for revision. Early testing shows improved recall and clearer understanding. Many students, and honestly, including myself, often fall into the same old learning pattern. We spend hours reading, highlighting, copying, and memorizing, but sometimes without truly understanding. As a result, our learning stays shallow and we forget right after the exam, sometimes even before it. Yes, we've learned many study techniques, but they often take extra time and effort, and we end up giving up halfway. And while study methods like Cornell Notes or mind maps are great for organizing information, they focus on structure, not on how to think while studying. So to address this challenge, I've developed the FIND Study Matrix. It's a simple visual thinking framework designed to help students process information, build real-life understanding, and become more independent learners. This idea was actually inspired by a problem-solving framework I learned in a workshop. I adapted and redesigned the structure for specifically studying purposes. Now, I want to be clear. This is not meant to replace existing study methods. Instead, it's a thinking framework that complements them. The shift is this. Instead of only asking, "What should I memorize?" FIND encourages students to ask four deep questions. What information do I know? What does this information mean? How can I organize it for easier recall? And how can I connect and apply this knowledge? By working through these perspectives, students actively process information rather than passively receiving it. The objectives of Find a Study Matrix are clear. First, to provide students with a simple four-step thinking process that works across all subjects. Second, to help students identify key information and understand main concepts, rather than just memorizing isolated facts. Third, to help students create meaningful notes that actually support memory recall. And finally, to develop independent learners who can connect ideas, apply what they know, and self-check whether they truly understand. Now, I want to be transparent about one limitation. While FIND works for any subject, it's most effective for concept-based ones like science, history, and languages. For mathematics, it's best used alongside worked examples, not as a replacement. This innovation started because I noticed a problem. Many students, myself included, rely on rote memorization, leading to shallow understanding and fast forgetting. This led me to the challenge. How can we make learning deeper, more effective, and less effortful? So I came up with an idea, a study method that organizes thinking, not just notes. The solution took shape when I adapted a problem-solving framework called FIND. I kept the four-letter structure, but gave each letter a new meaning for learning. F for facts, I for insights, N for notes, and D for discoveries. The learning cycle is simple. Students actively move through these four perspectives instead of passively memorizing. A key feature is the self-check, so students can tell if they truly understand or just memorized. As a result, students develop deeper understanding, stronger recall, and more independent study habits. Now let me show you the Find Study Matrix canvas. This is a simple one-page template that students can either print out or draw themselves in just a few seconds. It has 4 sections and each one represents a different way of thinking. First, facts help students identify key information by finding important keywords, details, examples, or evidence. Next, insights help students understand concepts and meanings. Instead of just simply remembering facts, students ask themselves, what does this information actually mean? Then, notes help students create easy to understand and easy to remember notes using keywords, diagrams, symbols, or visual connectors. And finally, discoveries. This is where students connect, apply, and explain what they have learned. Through this framework, students move beyond memorization and truly develop deeper understanding. Let me show you F.I.N.D in practice, using photosynthesis from the textbook. Let me walk you through each step. Okay, starting with facts. I learned that chlorophyll absorbs red and blue light, reflects green. That's why leaves appear green. Photosynthesis needs carbon dioxide, water, sunlight, and happens in the chloroplast. Next, insights. I realized photosynthesis isn't just a chemical equation. It's a life-supporting process that produces food and oxygen for ecosystems and human life. So now, I'm moving from knowing what to understand to why. Then, notes. Here, I turn information into something easy to remember. I draw a simple diagram showing carbon dioxide plus water with light and chloroplast, producing glucose and oxygen. I also sketch a leaf and label where chlorophyll absorbs red and blue light and reflects green. Finally, discoveries. I ask, can I apply this? Can I explain it? I connect photosynthesis to climate change, plants reducing carbon dioxide, and the importance of oxygen production. If students cannot explain a concept, they know where to go back. Facts for chlorophyll's roles, insights for why it matters. In this example, I could explain everything confidently. Proof of real understanding, not just memorization. The main impact of F.I.N.D study matrix is a shift from collecting and memorizing information for short-term recall to actively processing, organizing, and applying knowledge, helping students develop better learning habits, deeper understanding, and greater independence. The goal isn't just to help students to study more, but to help them to learn better. In conclusion, the F.I.N.D study matrix provides students with a simple yet practical thinking framework for learning. It does not replace existing study methods. Instead, it enhances the learning process by helping students identify important information, understand concepts, create meaningful notes, and apply knowledge. Across most subjects, F.I.N.D gives students 3 key things. Faster recall, because the notes are structured, deeper understanding, because you can't skip the thinking step, and an honest way to check yourself before the exam does it for you. Learning is not about memorizing information. Learning is about transforming information into understanding. Thank you.